Here we go then. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to JACKOCAR. It's round 5 of the Cup Series. It is also coming to you live from Suzuka in Japan. And you have an excellent commentary lineup this week. It is, of course, myself, race winner from Tuesday night, and Danny Quinn, the deserving race winner from Tuesday night. And before we come to Danny, I was actually given the idea by Khalifa earlier. You'll like this, everyone. Khalifa said, wouldn't it be good if we did some commentary JACKOCAR bingo? And the first one on the card is Jacko mentioning the race win on Tuesday night. So if you had that, well done, everyone. Danny Quinn, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Feeling excited for this race at Suzuka. Of course, it's a very unforgiving circuit, as everyone will know, especially Sector 3. So I'm expecting some exciting racing here.
Yes, Japan in the past has delivered. By the way, we're missing Michel Goris. No, we're not. Michel Goris is there. Japan has delivered the goods to us before. Notably, season 1, I believe it was, Thomas Stuhlen's the eventual race winner. And I believe that was a Michael O'Kk Joker where he held on and on and on. And it was about 5 laps from the end, Thomas eventually got him. Race for the drama, of course, Kieran bottling the win here in season 4, what would have been his first race win, then come back 2 weeks later and won in Mexico. And he's been winning races and championships ever since then. Along with Kieran, of race winners in this grid include Arnaud has won here, Jake has won here, and somebody else has won here as well. I think it might be Kyle or Jamie Wright, one of those two. And yeah, our last week's race winner, by the way, Casper Klein, his best finish here is P12. But there you go. That's all I have for you, by the way. Hopefully you got something interesting, Danny.
Well, I was going to say, of course, for Casper, with that win last week, he hasn't really got to worry about, his positions too much. Although he would want some higher finishes, it won't be a win or bust situation for him because he got it last week.
Absolutely. Casper, a lot happier now he's got that first win. His first win, in fact, in 350 days that he waited, almost a year. And we'll see Casper later on as we go on board with Michel Goris, his second start of the season. He DNF'd last time out at Silverstone. But let's see what he can do here as we approach turn 1 at full throttle and then braking heavy for turn 2. Puts you on a little short shoot up to 3, and this is where the Suzuka S's begin. Lovely, lovely part of the track. My favourite, in fact. A lot of drivers detest it, but I think they're great fun. And Michel not hitting all the apexes, but hitting enough to at least make it a semi-competitive lap time, we hope anyway. And into the 2... These are the Degners, aren't they? 1 and then 2, the second one a lot harder. You go under the bridge here, that's on the run up to the 130R, which we'll see in a few seconds' time. And then the hairpin here at Suzuka, famous for where Kobayashi went up the inside of that other car that I can't remember the name of. And this is the run down towards Spoon Corner where we saw Verstappen and Vettel get together a few years ago. Michel Goris, no spins for him as he hits the apex beautifully. Nice stuff from the Dutchman in the number 34 car. And this then is the beginning of the final sector as you run down towards the 130R, the infamous 130R. It's an easy flick to the left these days, as you see. And then into this final chicane where a few seasons ago Ben Shaw made up 3 positions in one corner. Right here, in fact, we have yellow flags out on track, but Ben Shaw made up those positions. Michel Goris to the line, and that's a nice 1:28.6 to kick us off for qualifying.
Yeah, that was a very good lap there from Michel, and that was actually Jamie Numbers, who's currently on the lap. He had a spin round Degner 2, so it is still valid though. Still got a valid lap, so still got a set lap time. Does have wing damage. He hasn't got his front left end plate, so It's not good for any left corners, which from this point is predominantly left. Of course, 130R, he had to massively lift off there. Yeah, he's just gone deep into the first part of the Casio triangle. Has a little bit of a drift. Being the nature of Japan, you have to do a little bit of drifting.
And that was a 137 for Jamie Griffiths. What you're saying, Danny, there is we should have left the cameras of Jamie Griffiths a long time ago rather than watching the completion of his lap. So we have done that. We'll move on to Jamie Wright, the two-time champion, the more successful Jamie, if you will. What can he do this week? Because he is still adjusting to Will. And you saw, if you joined us last week, his struggles in Silverstone. And it's heartbreaking. It's almost like watching Michael Okeke over the last 5 seasons in Cup. He just hasn't managed to put it together just yet. Michael Okeke, of course, competing in the Kia Series on a Tuesday night. But Jamie Wright into the chicane then. Let's see what he can do. Can he challenge the early pace set by Michel Goris? Up to the line then, Jamie Wright, and it is P2. I wonder if he'll be happy with that, because I don't think that's going to be anywhere near pole come the end of it. Owen Wyatt is next.
Yeah, I don't think it will be close, but I think he'll be happy with that. He kept it relatively clean. But on to Owen. Do like this livery he's got going on. You said that you weren't a fan of green on the cars, but
no, but he's used it subtly, hasn't he? It is nice.
Yeah, purple set to 2 in game. Of course, we know that doesn't necessarily mean it's purple. A little bit squirrely on the exit there, Casio triangle, but absolutely smashes Michel's time, 1.5 seconds.
So we can expect that to be a potential pole time. Who's that? Jamie Griffiths off the track. Waze Cuba next. So me and you, Danny, one of our main rivals for the Kia Series title, if you're going based on the recent seedings that I put out earlier this afternoon. Waze finding himself 3rd in Kia, in standings wise at least, behind myself and you, but we won't mention that we are 1-2 in the championship, will we? It's not the Jacko and Quinn show.
No, we definitely won't mention that we're 1 and 2 in the championship. No,
not at all. So anyway, here's Waze. He's 3rd in the Kia Series standings, by the way, behind me and Danny. Up to the line comes Waze. What could he do over the line? That's actually a very good lap, a 27.7 from Waze. Maybe we should promote him so there's less rivals. Connor Byers then. Connor Byers is next. I'll let you take us through the end of his lap there on board.
Yeah, so just coming out of spoon curve there, down to 130R, like saying it's an easy flick to the left. Purple sector 2 doesn't mean anything. I do like Connor's liveries, of course. Being the owner of ART, he has to feel obliged to use the purple. And I do love purple liveries in this game. And to the line, P3, only about just under 2 tenths off Wace. So Wace's time is actually looking very solid at the moment.
It does make you wonder if actually we might get some challenges for Owen Wyatt, or is Waze just that quick around here? Very quickly though, we'll move on to Jordan Lane, who is already at the line here. He goes P4, still the only man in the top 20 in all-time points in the Cup Series who is yet to win a race. Is it coming today? As we move on to Gareth Hall, the fastest man in team speed, Danny Quinn. That's your cue, Danny. This is the bit where you talk. Or I will. Okay, anyway, Danny has died, so Gareth is coming up towards the 130R. I will get back to you on Danny Quinn. I don't know what's happened to him. It's okay. It's a one-man show anyway. Thank you to the 9 people who joined us early on. Gareth Hall into the Casio chicane. The right, the left, and then another right to end the lap. And then the short little kink around the main start-finish line. He goes P4, his best qualifying this season. Only P12, by the way.
I am here, by the way. I just don't think Gareth deserved me talking over his name.
Oh, I see. Okay. Some pre-warning would have been lovely on that. Here's tonight's Joker. I'll let you talk over Kieran.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kieran is Joker, as we all know, but here we go. It's going around Spoon Curve now. Getting the power down okay, I guess. Coming up to 130i, let's... Got an okay line. Does say purple, but we'll ignore that.
We'll ignore that. It's actually a very
Through
nice
Casio
livery.
Triangle, very much locks up there, as you'd expect from Kieran. Coming up to the line, probably nowhere near Bolt yet.
Spot on. Nowhere near pole, Kieran. Previous race winner around here. Here's Leroy Hazelager then. 6 race wins in the Kia Series, 2 in the Cup. I think you have 6, don't you? I believe.
I've got 6 total in Kia.
Yeah. So yeah. Also with 6 wins in the Kia Series is Jake Warrior, who we've not seen since we introduced the traction ban. But we'll say no more on that as we look at Leroy heading down towards Spoon Curve. I still don't know what that helmet is. Is it the Carlos Sainz one?
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't tell from there. But it's very yellow as he gets a lovely stream off the back of the 5 car. That's his brother, by the way, Yuri Hazelager, who'll be setting a lap very shortly. Through 130R comes Leroy. Had very bad misfortune in Imola earlier this season on his Joker. But can he make amends here in Suzuka? Wider line around to the final corner. And he goes P4, does Leroy. Up next is Kyle Smith.
1,000th behind. 1,000th behind Connor, so very close between those two. I think there must be a tornado where you are, because I can just hear nothing but wind.
Well, it's not my arse, it is my fan though. And speaking of arses, Kyle Smith has gone P6, so we'll quickly move on to Yuri. You're going to have to put up with the fan, by the way, it's far too hot. Yeah. Here's Yuri in Degna 1. Oh, keeps it valid. Just about, does Yuri. He was riding that curb.
I was very, very lucky they didn't invalidate there, but going through the hairpin, it looked fairly tidy apart from the exit there. Now through this long right-hander into Spoon Curve. I want to ride that curve a little bit, touch the inside, he misses it, but still quite good. And then he's getting another, well, he's getting a slipstream.
Cool.
That was too close.
He might have lost a little bit of time having to go around the slow car on track. I'm not sure who that is. It might be Pete
That
Knighton.
was Pete, yeah, it was.
Yeah. Maybe it was intentional then, but here's Yuri to the line. What can he do with that 5 car? Oh, he puts it P10.
He doesn't take the inside line there. Of course, we're seeing everyone, well, nearly everyone take that inside line.
Apart from the Hazelager brothers.
Yeah.
But everyone else has done it. By the way, Waze, who still sits P2, his best ever Cup Series qualifying is P8. And so a couple more that qualify below him, he will have his best ever qualifying start here in the Cup Series as we look at the German driver, Mike Kelterborn, in that number 12 car. A little bit like Connor, runs ART purple. But where can he go? It is only P11. Poor for a man that sits P7 in the standings at the moment. Here is Pete Knighton at the hairpin. So he's gone out later than the others, hence why we're seeing more of his lap here. But Pete Knighton, it was said only about a half an hour ago in the chat, 112 races since he last won in JACKOCAR.
That's not right.
It is. I've just told you.
He won. I swear he... Oh, no.
No,
he won in Jeddah, didn't he?
No, because he gifted me that week. You should know all about gifting wins to people. Come on.
I mean, in the double header. The double header this season.
He crashed out. Actually, no, sorry, he was second behind Jake O'Sullivan. Pete goes third, by the way.
Wace's time is looking stronger and stronger.
Wace's time is very good. Here's Corey, by the way, who had some issues getting into qualifying, but it does look like he is in control of that car, do we think? We'll see through 130R. Yeah, it does appear to be Corey driving this. And this is a lap time that should start to challenge the current pole sitter of Owen Wyatt. So where can Corey go then on the run up to the line? Where does he put that 69 car? It's only P2 and knocks Ways down. So next up is Arnaud, who, by the way, will tell you he's had no practice tonight, but the last time he said that, he won from the back of the grid in Belgium 3 seasons ago.
Yes. I mean, with someone like Arnaud, does he really need practice? Probably not.
No, definitely not. However, Arnaud still eluded with a championship. Somehow he does not have a title here, and it's beyond me that is the case. But round the chicane and the final corner he comes. It's Arnaud with a very tight line, but it's only P4 and slower than the Welshman Ways. So we're now into the big four. Ben Harrett up first. The man who won in Imola. What can he do tonight? Somehow, this having his best ever start to a Cup Series campaign. 4th in points for the little man from Bishop Stortford. He can win races, but he's shit at golf, let me tell you that. And into the Casio triangle he comes. Very aggressive on the entry and through the middle part of the corner. Hopefully it's a good lap for him. We're already into the 125s. Where will Ben Harrett go? It's P2. What a lap from Ben Harrett. Next up is Khalifa.
Yeah, Khalifa going very tidily through Degner 2 up into the hairpin will go. Should be down to... He actually shifted down to 3rd, keeping the high gears so he can get a more stable exit. And it seems to have worked for Khalifa. Coming down into the spoon curve now, you want to just touch that outside apex and the inside as well. He's getting a little slipstream from Arnaud, I believe that is. It's a very long slipstream. And that might be the best one we've seen tonight so far, gaining, I'd imagine, a lot of time and speed through that. Actually going through the Casio triangle very quickly, and it might be pole. Yeah, it is.
It is pole. So then, over to you then, last week's race winner, Casper Klein. There is, by the way, a big K on the front of that car. I wonder if the K stands for Casper or crap around here, because he only has a best finish of P12. I do wonder as well if it's meant to resemble a Toyota. Of course, the old Panasonic Toyotas that used to race in Formula 1 with that famous red and white livery. But through Spoon Curve comes Casper. Oh, I know, very close to invalidating there. I wasn't going to say it as well, but we've never had all 20 drivers complete a valid lap. This could be the first time ever. Into 130R goes Casper. What can he do? In the seedings, he's gone up to P4, but in the standings, he is P2, having his best ever start to a Cup Series campaign as well. So many drivers outperforming themselves. Up to the line comes Casper, and it's P3, leaving just one man left to go. It's your 2-time champion, and the man who won round here the last time we visited Japan in Season 6, 2 seasons ago. Already into the playoffs is Jake O'Sullivan in that 40 car. And I wonder if he has an answer to Khalifa, who's been on pole twice already this season. By the way, Ben Harrett and Ways will have their best ever qualifying results, regardless of where Jake goes. Can he keep it valid? It looks like we're on for all 20 valid laps. Fantastic stuff from these drivers, but Jake O'Sullivan to the line. It's only P4. Khalifa on pole once again, and this time it's in Japan.
Yeah, that was a very good lap there for Khalifa, and I have to say that slipstream from Arnaud definitely pushed him on a little bit to get that pole position. But that's of course, we don't have teams in Cup Series. That stopped a long time ago, but
thank God.
Yeah, thank God for that.
And yeah, by the way,
Wace also getting his highest qualifying position in the Cup as well.
Very good lap from Waze, actually, it must be said. Khalifa, by the way, with that pole position, he is now the outright all-time pole sitter in the Cup Series with 18. So Ben Shaw is relegated to P2. The rest of the grid looks like this. Owen Wyatt, Casper, Jake O'Sullivan, Ben Harrett, Corey Dalton. The surprise package of Ways in P7. Arnaud is 8th, Pete Knight is 9th, and Connor Byers in P10. I do have time to read the rest, but as I normally say, who cares? Because they're in the bottom half.
So I'll do it. We've got Leroy in 11th,
I'll
Kieran in
go
12th,
on then.
Kyle in 13th, Gareth in 14th, Jordan 15th, Michelle 16th. Don't know who that is in 17th. Oh, there we go.
Some Dutch fella. And then the other three as well. I think Jamie Griffiths is last.
The other three, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, something we do need to mention, there's 3 drivers on 11 wins. So maybe one of them can get a win tonight.
Yep, so this is the tweet that was put out earlier. Kyle, Khalifa and Arnaud have all been on 11 wins for quite some time. I will read that to you. 1 second, viewers. So Kyle, his last win was 168 days ago. Arnaud, 679 days ago. And then Khalifa, get this, season 3 champion, 11 race wins, 854 days since he last won a race. That takes you all the way back to sometime in 2021.
That would have been F121.
Yeah, it would have been. I'll just read in the chat here, making sure I've not missed anything. I don't think so. And that is no. So, JACKOCAR is in action tonight. I am your head referee on that, with assistant Danny Quinn, the sole joker of Kieran Spears, who always has his joker around here. He'll be on the alternate strategy, one to watch out for. And your stage points come at the end of lap 7 and lap 14. Whilst we wait for the drivers here, Danny, I will talk you more through Khalifa's JACKOCAR bingo. I won't read them all out because there's like 25 here. He's gone for more than 3 safety cars. That's very, very viable. I hope formation lap's on.
Yeah, it is.
It is, okay. What else have we got? Khalifa breaks the pole record, so we can tick that one off. That definitely happened. A driver spins at Casio Triangle. Not in qualifying they didn't, but we have 27 laps to come. There's an outrageous one here. Pete wins. Don't know. That's one for the betting man, that is.
Yeah.
And a DRS train with 5 or more drivers appears. So keep an eye out for them. Are there any more?
That could definitely be possible when DRS is enabled.
Absolutely.
So we can tick that one off straight away.
And there is one more here as well. I think this is probably the most dead cert of the lot. Connor Byers complains about being taken out, and then open brackets again, close brackets. So there you go.
There should be one that says Connor says ACC is better.
You know what? I've not heard that from him this season.
Oh.
Of course,
Maybe
races.
he's finally come around.
Maybe this game suits him. That's the reason why he's not in Kia Series, because he races on a subpar game on a Tuesday night. Anyway, that's enough of Connor. Here's run you through this field again. Khalifa, Owen, Casper, Jake and Ben Harrett, the odd one out there of that top 5. Expecting fireworks. Ben Harrett could win this race if those top 4 come together. There certainly is potential. And then there's the ever-present Corey Dalton. What can we expect from him? He still hasn't won a race this season, but he's knocking on the door. And knocking on the door as well for a race win is people like Khalifa, like Arnaud. Maybe Pete Knighton gets it tonight. Ways up there in P7. Spinning through Casio Triangle. There you are. Tick that one off your bingo cards. What can he do from P7? He's a reserve driver, but he's raced every single race so far this season, so great effort from him, as well as doing double duty down in Kia Series. And then Connor Byers, yet to complain, 23 minutes into the stream. So that is your top 10. A record?
That's a very wacky starting position from, I believe that's Casper.
I think Gareth is the one we need to go to. Yeah, it's Gareth. Look at
Oh,
this.
God.
Anyway, let's see where it gets him. MK Bourne gets disqualified,
Oh,
but
wow.
JACKOCAR is back in Suzuka and Japan. It's round 5 of the Cup Series, and there's been a jump start already for Kieran. No, that's the game playing up.
We're gonna have to have a lobby restart.
And we might have to have a lobby restart. Let me get a picture of the grid. This is one of those where as soon as somebody leaves, it starts. Here we go. Kieran has left. And the engines are firing up. I think we're going. So Kieran, the Joker strategy. It's race over as the drivers file down towards turn 1. Owen Wyatt already has the lead on Khalifa, who's had an awful start, and Casper's looking up the inside as well. Ben Harrett gets ahead of Jake O'Sullivan, and Corey retains P6. Action further back as we see a spinner his ways into the wall, and it's a retirement for Leroy Hazelogger, and this will bring out our first safety car, surely. It's a VSC at the moment. I'm sure that will be upgraded. Ways there, you saw him spinning, trying to collect the car, and he was very, very unlucky. And it just so happened to be that Leroy was in the way, in his path. So another first lap retirement for Leroy this season. Ways will continue, and there is confirmation of that safety car.
Yeah, I saw that happening in the background. Looking at the broadcast camera on Owen, I just saw Pete and Waze going side by side through their section, and then Waze took a more inside line, and Pete tried to open up the corner going to the outside for the next one, and just completely cut across Waze and speared him into the way of Leroy.
Very unfortunate for Leroy. Who got pole? It was Khalifa, wasn't it?
It was Khalifa,
so
yeah.
This is me trying to keep up with all the stats as well, so I don't have to watch the race back afterwards.
So I've got my notepad ready for when some non-mandatories.
Love that. Of course, speaking of non-mandatories, if you pit in the first 2 laps, they do not count. They are non-mandatory. They do not go towards your 2 stops that you have to make. Owen Wyatt leads the field round on lap 1. OWEN lap 1. I'll come back to that later on.
Weiss is just pits.
Yeah, we expected this, so non-mandatory, but he will be able to catch up to the rest of the grid. His race is not over by any means, but of course, damage is on that car.
Could very well be underfloor from the contact.
Yeah, when I saw him careering towards the barrier, I thought this one's over. I didn't know who at the time he was collecting. It was Leroy, but Waze still in this one. So God has given him another chance. What a shame after fantastic qualifying, P7. Kieran has rejoined, but already disqualified from the session. And Danny, we should mention if I get up here on the old laptop, we should mention the club card shootout, which you may not know anything about, or you might. I don't know. Anyway, after tonight's race, the top 4 in points are guaranteed playoff points at the end of the regular season to use in their postseason campaign. The other 16 to the left, they have to battle it out head-to-head over the remaining regular season races. So it's like the round of 16, the round of 8, the round of 4, and then the finale in Austria, where it'll be just 2 drivers fighting for 5 playoff points. And it's very simple. It's whoever beats who on track. There's no points involved. You've just got to beat the driver who you're against on the day, and it will get you 5 playoff points. But of course, it's a 4-week campaign, and that starts next week, I believe, in Spa. But with Leroy's crash, that condemns him to the club card shootout, so he will not be getting guaranteed playoff points. And at the moment, if I can bring the standings up, I must have them somewhere.
That'd be fun if it was in Kia. It'd just be me and you in the finale.
It is in Kia.
Yeah,
But
just be me and you in the finale.
we're on for guaranteed playoff points anyway, because there's absolutely no way
Oh,
that
yeah,
we're going to be in the bottom 16.
that would have been fun.
I do have the points here. So yeah, your current top 4 in points is Jake O'Sullivan on 49, and then Casper and Khalifa both on 44, with in 4th Ben Harrett is on 39, and so is Arnaud, but Ben Harrett would advance to a guaranteed playoff point because of his race win. So Arnaud would be down in the club card shootout along with everybody else. But as established earlier, everybody from 11th down, so that's Leroy, Kieran, Gareth, Jordan, Connor, Sullivan, Ben Shaw, Jamie Wright, Jamie Griffiths and Michelle Goris, they are all on their way to the club card shootout regardless. So people like Kyle, Yori, Mike, Pete, Corey, Arnaud all have it still to play for. Can they get into that top 4 in points to try and get more playoff points at the end of the regular season? But yeah, it will be a lot of fun to see these drivers go head to head over the next 4 weeks.
It'll be fun in Kia as well, because besides me and you, it's very close.
Besides me and you and Waze and Vitinho and Robin and Paul McGuinness on his day, Matt Shepherd on his day, some good drivers down at Kia, but they're not getting the same luck as us, let's say.
It's all skill. It's all skill. I don't know what you're talking about.
For the good of the league, I'm hoping it closes up so that you don't run away and win every single race. If you want to gift me another one, though, I'm happy to take it in Monaco.
We don't want a Max Verstappen-esque domination. That's the last thing we want.
No, because that would be awful. Anyway, safety
much
car in
like
this lap.
in real life.
Yeah, atrocious. Owen Wyatt has led the opening 3 laps here. Remember, end of lap 7 is the first stage point. And I just need to quickly remind myself of where the restart zone is. It is the orange barrier on the right that signifies the pit road from the main race track. And that is here on your right. And Owen Wyatt can go any time from now to the start-finish line. And away he goes with Khalifa and Ben Harrett in tow, who's actually P3 at the moment, and blocks Arnaud. Great block. But has to let Casper through, so he jumped the start. Did Ben Harrett. And further back you see Jake and Corey fighting. I can't wait to see those two.
Oh, ways.
Can't wait to see these two battle all season long, won't they?
I'm not sure what happened in the back here. Jamie's quite far back.
Jamie Griffiths, presumably.
Yeah, Jamie Griffiths, sorry.
Yeah, well,
must have had a spin or something.
What we have established so far this season is he is utterly useless. Of course, one of those drivers going from pad to wheel, and it is showing, it's hurting him. He's a lot better than P18, trust me, as Owen Wyatt continues to lead. And Corey was getting quite racy with Jake there, but Jake has now closed the gap to Ben Harrett. Let's go on board here. And there is Corey. So yeah, definitely closer to Ben Harrett. Will Ben make it easy? He absolutely will. And then of course he'll make life very difficult for Corey. But what will Corey do? He's going to make contact with Ben Harrett, and Ben Harrett blocking all the way down into the chicane. Corey will not like that, but I don't believe there was anything wrong with it. A little bit late maybe, but it was good defending otherwise. It will, if anything, spur Corey on to make a lunge down into turn 1 if he can get close enough to the back of Ben Harrett here. Here we go. Not this time.
Yuri's in the box.
So early stop for Yuri Hazelager. We're going to stay with Corey and Ben Harrett because this one's looking rather tasty. And you know Corey will fight every last bit of this. Arnaud sits comfortably behind him in P7. This is his point of view. We see Kyle get past Connor. In the meantime, Pete Knighton sits P10. But what about Corey? Where will he go? Or is he just waiting for the right moment? Waze Cuba, the only man with a penalty at the moment. on a night where we saw all 20 drivers complete a valid lap. 19 of them were decent as well. Jamie Griffiths, his was awful. And Arnaud now starting to close to the back of Corey. This is the closest battle on track. These three. As Jake is trying to bridge the gap to Casper. But what about Corey now? Throws the dummy, sends it down the inside, and that's going to be a good move on Ben Harrop. Good stuff from Corey. You saw it coming and shuts the door on the exit, and that's going to allow Arnaud to go up the inside of Ben Harrop here. Will he get the move done? They are neck and neck down the straight as Arnaud starts to lean ahead and will lead into turn 1 and 2 and gets the job done on Ben Harrop. So 2 positions lost there for Ben Harrop, trying to keep Corey behind him. It has backfired on this occasion, but still runs P6 after a best qualifying ever for the man from Bishop Stortford. What's happening further up? We see Khalifa and Owen.
I do think we can actually take something off the list, off the bingo card now.
Go on.
We could. The DRS train.
Ah, yes. There's only lap 6 as well.
Yeah. There was a DRS train from Corey down to about J-Luke earlier on. But you were in your swing of things and I didn't want to butt in for you.
Thank you so much. You could argue you moved out the way for me to let me do my thing. But we won't mention...
Where have we seen that before?
It was Tuesday night. I don't know if you know, we were 1 and 2 on track. I'm going to move actually down to J-Luke, by the way, who's just gone off track. He was the closest to anybody else on circuit with us because Waze was overtaking him. So Jamie Wright sits P13 as we have yellow flags for Casper. Why is Casper in P16 then? Has he pitted?
He has pitted, yeah. He's on fresh mediums.
My apologies, I missed that.
Pete, yeah, himself and Pete both pitted.
So that does make Casper the net race leader. And there will be a stage point at the end of this lap. Currently Owen Wyatt leading the way and still waiting for a full-time seat to open up. Who will be the driver who gets fed up of racing on a Thursday night? There's always one. There's always one. But of course, as soon as that one happens, it will be Owen Wyatt straight into that seat. Takes a lot of curb at Degner 1 there.
Yeah, he's got, judging by how he's going now, he's got a real case for getting multiple wins. Of course, in the races that he's done, one staff participated in and commentated, he's been electric quick. So, yeah, he's got a case to potentially, well, get into C5 and potentially get a championship.
Yeah, you never know. Of course, Owen won here on opening night in Singapore. And that was his first race win in the league after a previous best result, P3, which he got at Portimao a couple seasons ago. And he will be looking to nab his second stage point of the season. Jordan gets past MK Bourne. Does Owen Wyatt stay out? Yes, he does, and he'll take the stage as well. So that's stage 1 and a playoff point for Owen Wyatt. Khalifa.
Yeah, Corey
pits.
Comes in, Arnaud, Ben Harrop comes in. Doesn't seem like anyone else is opting to pit, so only those 4 for the time being.
Yeah, you've got to keep your eye on Casper actually. Where does Casper emerge in relation to those that have pitted? He will jump up the order a little bit here. At least 11th.
He's jumped up ahead of Khalifa though.
Yes, he has. So that's bad news then for Owen Wyatt. However, Khalifa and Owen, will have the fresher tyres. I wonder if anyone's relaying this information to Owen. As we see Jamie Griffiths retain his position in P18. Where is the closest battle on track? It's Pete Knighton and Corey. There's also Michelle and Jamie Wright.
That's a bit of a throwback, isn't it?
Isn't it just? I wonder.
But yeah, it's very close between these two. Only 3 tenths between them. Pete was kind of pushing Corey through the hairpin there, but Corey soon bridges, well, extends the gap back to Pete. Of course, Pete might be feeling a bit of the pressure from Arnaud behind us. He gets all over the curb on the outside of Spoon Curve, and we do have Owen and Kajman and Carl and Connor all coming in, so I'm going to keep my eye on Casper to see where he comes out in relation to Owen.
Yep, and we will actually go on board with Casper, because this is big. By the way, fastest man in team speed now leads this race, so second race leader of the night is Gareth Hall as Casper emerges ahead of Owen Wyatt. So last week's race winner, who's never finished higher than 12th here in JACKOCAR, is now your net race leader. Waze, by the way, who has made one stop, but it was non-mandatory, so he still has 2 to go. In fact, I believe it is just those top 4 that are left to do their first stop. Waze, however, has gone on to the hards. I wonder if he's planning on doing 2 late stops, one of them maybe under a safety car. But yeah, Casper, the man to beat, continuing his form as we have yellow flags. And who is that? It is gone and cleared, so it's a nobody. But yeah, Casper continuing his form from last week in Silverstone.
I think it might have been Arnaud. Arnaud is about 4 seconds behind Pete when he was under a second, so it may have been Arnaud.
A rare error then from the Belgian, who now has Kyle for company in P12. They do like running wide at Spoon, don't they? And on the exit.
We have Owen getting very close to the back of Casper.
Is this going to be straightforward, or will Casper fight it? Jordan overtakes Mike as he pits. But where will Owen go? I think he's just going to make it easy to the right. Casper will come back later on in the race as we see Corey set the fastest lap. Casper
is keeping with him though. He is trying to keep with him, of course. Going to be feeling that dirty air coming off the back of Owen going through the S section.
Yep, of course he has to stay. Has to stay within a second to retain the DRS, as they are starting now to catch the back of Waze. Having an awful day so far, other than qualifying. Meanwhile, out front, Gareth Hall, this is your moment on your glory run. Just leading laps. Goal hanging for a safety car. Maybe we'll even try and steal the second stage point, which comes at the end of lap 14. He has a gap to Jordan. I wonder if he can hold off the ever-fast Owen Wyatt. Here he goes, in fact. Waze, will he defend? He's going to make Owen go around the inside. This could be tears for one of them, but Owen gets it done. Waze runs wide, and then Casper will be next. Waze sensibly braking in time so he doesn't run into the back of Owen Wyatt, as we see Jordan now pit, which will clear the way for Owen Wyatt, who is once again back in the net race lead of this race with a fastest lap.
Yeah, it was very good. It was a very good overtake from Owen Wyatt, of course. When you've got Waze ahead of you, it's not really an easy overtake, but he's never going to make it easy for you. Even if he knows that you're faster, he's never going to make it easy, which is the nature of JACKOCAR. It's the essence of JACKOCAR, never make anything easy.
No, unless, of course, your name is Danny Quinn and you don't want to win in Miami, in which case you just pull over and let the main title rival have all 5 playoff points. But we won't bring it up.
Did you know that me and Jacko finished 1-2 that
race? Love it. Anyway, before we annoy everybody, here is Jake O'Sullivan and Corey. By the way, Casper just gets past Waze just then. But these two going for it. Also, Kyle has managed to get past Arnaud, it should be noted. And Khalifa. Oh, Khalifa's gone off. Well, I was about to say Khalifa's about to make an easy move on Waze, but instead he was in the gravel trap on the Exeter Spoon. And Jake O'Sullivan around the outside at 130R. And will he go around the outside of Corey at the Casio? No, he won't. He thinks much better of it. Great defending from Corey, who left just a car's width there. Fantastic stuff as we see Waze finally make his first stop. But Khalifa and Jake now in that DRS. But Khalifa, once again this season, is not getting any luck. And that's a massive move to the right from Corey. But Jake O'Sullivan muscles his way through into P4. That was a hell of a block, but it was a hell of a move. Fantastic stuff from these two. Absolutely incredible driving.
Yeah, it was very, very aggressive defending there from Corey. But ultimately it didn't matter. He got the move done, did Catchman, and yeah, into P4, into a net P3.
You do wonder if Jake was somewhat expecting it, with it being Corey. Because he was certainly on the buzzer to move to the right, wasn't he? And fantastic move. We saw a cracking move last week as well, didn't we? I can't remember who it was. Oh, it was also involving Corey. He went down the inside of Copse, 3 wide. No contact, by the way, because the other driver's left room on the outside. But yeah, Corey involved once again in shenanigans involving overtakes. But it is Jake who has come out on top. And that all stemmed from Khalifa's mistake the lap before. Gareth is still out front, but Owen Wyatt is closing in and looking to take the race lead off of him.
Yeah, and the stage point is not going to make it too, easy for Owen, but it gets the move done. Owen on course to get both stage points. Of course, being a reserve, that's taken away from the full-time drivers, so good on you, Owen. Good on you.
So, of course, that comes at the end of lap 14. But also, it should be noted, Owen has built quite the gap over Casper.
Yeah. So I wonder if Casper's made a mistake at some point that we didn't manage to catch, because both Jake and Corey, and, Khalifa as well, they're right on his rear.
Yes, they are. It's a great train of drivers to have, because it just spells fireworks. A lot of calls saying Owen should be full-time. If this is genuine pace, absolutely not, because he'd be far too fast for the league. But if it is a mistake from Casper, then very much so.
Little bit of a rear-end slide there from Owen, going out of the spoon curve. And yeah, Casper's just making inroads in the gap to Gareth, but yeah, Jake is getting very close to the back of Casper, going for the outside line. Oh,
look at Corey through the middle.
Wow!
And he did it without contact as well. Incredible stuff. So as Casper forcing,
going deep.
Went deep, forced Jake deep as well. Corey blocking again, more contact as they head down to turn 1. And Casper almost involved in that one as well. Khalifa will be rubbing his hands together. But will he? As he gets involved himself, Casper's going to run into him. And Khalifa, for the second time in 4 laps, is off the track. Through no fault of his own. This time, Casper recovering after a mistake. But that's broke up this chain of 4. And now it's Jake and Corey who are still together. This is fantastic. We're going to quickly go down to Jamie Griffiths, who is hunting down Michel Goris. This is the closest battle on track, apart from Jake, who is still closing the gap to Corey.
Yeah, it's not really looking good for the speed boys at the moment. Well, the highest speed driver is P8, but then the rest of them are in the bottom half of the field, which honestly is great to see.
No further comment at this time. Of course, there are no teams in JACKOCAR. It is all individual. It's all about your individual performance. If someone says there are teams, that must be a third-party thing, because it's nothing to do with me. We're going to go back to this battle, by the way. Owen Wyatt will win stage 2, another playoff point for him, but Jake is right there with Corey. Who defends aggressive right and then weaves back to the left. This is going to be one of those ongoing race battles. And by the way, lap 15 drivers can now make their second mandatory stops. Everybody, I believe, yes they have, has all done one. So everyone's next stop will be mandatory.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's only 3 runners on the soft tyres, being Kyle, Jordan and Gareth. As J-Luke actually gets a move done on Yuri, but then Yuri gets right back down the inside. So quite a spicy battle going on between these two at the back.
Yuri's struggling as well, it would appear.
Yeah,
but then
really
so is Jamie Wright. Oh, there you go. Speaking of struggle, he's in the barrier on the inside of Dunlop.
That's safety
and that's
car.
A safety car.
Well,
then.
Losing his front wing? Yeah, he's completely lost his front wing.
Well, I think, Mr. Quinn, that is going to bring everybody into the pits now.
Yeah, you'd think it would, yeah.
You have to. You have to pit now.
Yeah.
Everybody can make a safety car pit stop. And that's exactly what the race leader is doing. Which I'm glad this has come out, because he had an 8-second lead. So,
if only we had a safety car on Tuesday.
Oh, we didn't need it. Is anyone going to stay out? Kyle will come in, as will Arnold and Pete and Connor, who has to slow for Delta. Yeah. About Jordan. Yep. MK Bourne. Yep. Does anyone want to go and take the lead, perhaps? Gareth would be your man if there's ever going to be one.
Oh, Owen. The only man to go on to hards.
That is interesting. So we are genuinely seeing everybody come into the pit lane. This is a first. Waze, go on, Ben.
Oh, yeah.
Ben stays out. Jamie Wright pits. Watch him jump up the order here.
He's going to get up to
10th.
9th.
9th.
Yeah.
Now,
there's actually a few people opted for hards.
It says here Ben Harrett has made 2 stops already, so we are going to have to do a quick VAR check to make sure he didn't pit on lap 15. I don't believe he did. But Mr. Quinn, the camera is on Ben Harrett. Talk away whilst I go to VAR.
Yes, there's J-Luke just coming out the pits now. There's only, going through the position changes, might as well. We've got Wace obviously losing 9 positions from a starting position of 7th. And we have Mike gaining 6, starting from 18th, going up to 12th. More notably, we have Kyle gaining 7 positions as well, going from 13th to 6th. So overall, it's been very good from himself. But the pole man, Khalifa, all the way down in 5th. Of course, we are in safety car conditions. So brought everyone back together, so potentially brought himself back in for a potential win.
I am back. VAR check complete. Ben Harrett last pitted on lap 14. So 1 lap too soon.
Yeah, have to pit again, unfortunately.
Yeah, so everybody else is complete apart from that man there in P9. So hopefully somebody gets the message across to him, because he was 1 lap too early. It has to be lap 15 onwards here in Japan. And that'll be heartbreaking for him. Where did he qualify? 5th. Really good qualifying. And he was, when that safety car come out, he was already down in 18th. But I think he pitted from 16th anyway. So great shame for Ben Harrett. But by the way, look at this top 8. I'm just going to reel off these names for you. Owen Wyatt, Jake O'Sullivan, Corey Dalton, Casper Klein, Khalifa El Khalifa, Kyle Smith, Arnaud de Grief, and Pete Knighton. What an array of drivers that lead this race. All of them strategy complete, all of them without a penalty, and all of them chasing down Owen Wyatt on less rubbery tyres, let's say. or
Now
more.
let's work out how many wins is in the top 8.
You're welcome to if you want. It's quite a lot.
Let's see if I can find the graphic.
Actually, I can probably do it for you. So Owen and Jake combined have 10. Corey has 6. Casper has 7. Khalifa has 11. Kyle also has 11. As does Arnaud. As does Pete, who has 3, sorry. So 59 wins in the top 8. In fact, it's 61 in the top 9 if you count Ben Harrop. But of course, he is with 1 stop to go. He may as well pit now, hadn't he? Get it out of the way with. But of course, you can't follow the safety car in. So yeah, 59 wins in the top 8 drivers. And if you want to talk about championships, you got 1, 2, 4 championships. 2 for Jake, 1 for Khalifa, and 1 for Pete Knighton. Who is winning this race? Owen Wyatt has been the man to beat all night long, and the safety car will be in this lap. But we've seen some very fast driving from Jake and Corey. Casper's dropped off in the last few laps, but is still there. And of course, Khalifa, who is no slouch. This could go anywhere. Yeah. And it's going to be a 10-lap shootout to the end.
All of these drivers are not very... Well, they're not people to give up on overtakes. Well, Owen goes. He tries to catch out Jake. He does momentarily. And that is Arnaud getting past Kyle. Side by side is a 2 contact. Oh, Kyle goes into a half spin, has to cut across the grass. He does cut onto the racing line, but it's all the way down in 12th now.
Yep. Kyle will slot in there quite nicely, but the contact seemed almost inevitable, didn't it? Going into turn 1 there with Arnaud, who I'm sure Kyle will say something about that after the race. He usually does, and it is usually him and Arnaud coming together, as he is all over the back of teammate MK Bourne here. His fastest man in team speed is P13. Yellow flags are out once again for a spinning Jamie Griffiths, who recovers. And we see Kyle starting the recovery drive. 10 laps to go, remember. And what can he do? But up front, I think, is where we want to focus our attention, Mr. Quint. Because Owen Wyatt is leading a train of very fast drivers, and he's on the slower tyre. Is that a mistake? Of course, no DRS for the first couple of laps. But Jake...
Maybe it's calculated from him.
Maybe as he gets the rear end out.
Maybe he already knows that he's got the pace on him, so he can afford to go on the hards.
He may well have the pace, but can he get back through once the mediums go off, or will the mediums go off? Because the way that Jake is sitting in the dirty air of Owen Wyatt, you would think that those tyres are not going to last forever. Waze gets the first penalty of the night, or other than Jamie Wright, which we didn't see. Having another shocker, unfortunately, along with the other Jamie. And Michel Gorry struggling to adapt to this new game. But Owen Wyatt continues to lead from Jake O'Sullivan, and then Corey. Casper sits 4th with Khalifa 5th. Yet to be on the podium this season, but 3 pole positions to his name so far. And the outright pole position leader all time is Khalifa. Teammate Arnaud is P6, who has an answer for Owen Wyatt.
The top 7 are really, well, keeping each other honest. They're all within, well, nearly all of them are within 5/10 of the car ahead, so yeah, they're all keeping each other honest. Ben Harrop is just teetering on the edge of getting DRS on the back of Pete Knighton, but it doesn't look like he'll get it for this lap. So yeah, DRS train from Owen to, well, now it's a DRS train with it just being enabled, but yeah, from Owen down to Pete is anyone's game. As saying that, Casper has really dropped off on the back of Corey, nearly beyond that 1 second mark, only about 9.5 tenths, although he is starting to catch now.
Yeah, Starting to catch again is Casper, but off the back of him, we see Khalifa starting to fade away. This front three, though, they are not letting it go, and you just sense that with 7 full laps to go, 7.5 laps. Oh, Jake has a moment. You just sense there's going to be some fireworks coming later on.
Corey.
Down the inside goes Corey. That's an easy move for him because he is going to give no room to Jake O'Sullivan and shuts the door on the exit. That, in fact, will bring Casper back into it. But can Corey, safety car, I was going to say, can Corey get back to Owen Wyatt? This now, by the way, is the opportunity for Ben Harrett to pit and not lose any time.
Yeah, I think, well, kind of should see everyone come in once again.
Do you reckon?
Well, but softs
to the end?
Softs to the end. Well, I don't know if Jamie Wright will have any, because he's on softs currently.
Let's see, what does Owen Wyatt do? He stays out. Corey Dalton stays out. We're going to go down the order here. Does anybody take the gamble? Ben Harrett.
Ben.
We expected this, so.
Yeah.
So he'll be on the fastest tyres, will Ben Harrett.
Fastest man of speed is in.
Can Ben Harrett pull off a miracle? And he's only going to drop to, once Jamie Griffiths goes past.
He'll only be 12. Oh no.
13th. Yeah, he'll only be 13th, so that is not a bad place to be, considering he was a whole pit stop behind before that safety car come out. This race
definitely
has all the potential to come just yet, and it's been a good one so far. Owen Wyatt, I can tell you, has secured another playoff point. He has led the most laps this race, so that'll be another one that he has taken away from the full-time drivers. They must be hating it, and they'll want anything other than Owen Wyatt joining the roster.
It could have been a clean sweep if it wasn't for Khalifa. If Owen ends up winning it could have been a clean sweep.
You're absolutely right, but what about the fastest lap? Who has that at the moment?
Oh yeah, the fastest lap.
It is current. No, it's Owen anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, it could well be one of the soft runners that takes it away from Owen.
Yeah, and in fact, if you're OCD like me, you got the hard runners at the front.
Oh,
that's just Owen.
That's really nice.
The mediums from 2nd to 11th, and then the soft runners 12th to 18th.
That is very, very satisfying. Well, ignore those two at the bottom. They're not here, so we'll ignore them.
Yeah, they don't count. But with the exception of Jamie Wright here, all those soft runners are fresh soft runners.
Jamie, you had to ruin it, didn't you?
I think, like you said, he didn't have enough soft tyres left to go.
Well, true, yeah.
He has 4 laps on him, in fact.
Yeah, it might not get... Well, this safety car will definitely help with the tyre life, but, yeah, doing another 5 or 6 laps on those softs will... They might even puncture by the end, which will be unfortunate.
Fingers crossed. I'm joking, by the way. What was I going to say? So Owen Wyatt needs to hope that his hards fire back up when this restart gets going. But what it has done is it's allowed the medium runners... Excuse me, that's wind. It's allowed the medium runners to cool their tyres down to the point where they should be able to have another good battle at this. But nobody... With the exception of Casper, nobody has overtaken Owen today. He has been the man. So I wonder if he's got this thing sorted as we see Jake almost going to the back of Corey under safety car conditions, no less. I hope that wasn't with intent from Corey. Or if it was just misjudgment from Jake.
Just letting him know he's still there.
Oh, I think he knows. He definitely knows. You saw that move earlier. So then, through the Degners come the leaders. We'll give you another rundown. It hasn't really changed. The only change is that Corey is in front of Jake. Owen Wyatt leads. And then it's Casper, Khalifa, Arnaud, Pete still holding strong in P7. Connor having a non-Moni day in P8. And it's Jordan 9th, Kyle P10. So he's come back from 12th after the contact with Arnaud. who's only 4 cars ahead of him now. Then MK Bourne, Mike Kelterborn, the last of the medium runners, followed by Jamie Wright on the oldest soft tyres, and then all the new soft runners here. Ben Harrott, Gareth Hall, Yuri Hazaga, Waze Kuba, Michel Goris, and Jamie Griffiths, who's actually gone and put some mediums on. Or he already was on them. I must have missed that. I missed that.
Yeah.
Or are they old mediums he's just put on? Were the softs not to his liking?
I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter
I'm
because
not
he's
too
P18.
sure.
It is then Danny Quinn. Another one to tick off the bingo sheet. 3 safety cars or more, Khalifa said.
Yep.
And that was our third one. Owen Wyatt will lead us on to lap 23. Can he fire the hards up? I'm going to go on board with Jake O'Sullivan for this one. You know Owen will get it right. I just wonder how this restart's going to go down. And I tell you what, Corey and Jake have got a better jump on Owen this time. But Jake has actually had the best start of the 3. Owen defends right. Jake goes left. So does Corey. Corey into turn 1 and takes the lead of the race. And contact between Jake and Owen. Can Corey hold it around the outside? There's bumping further back, front wing flying everywhere, and Arnold has made his way up to P4. Great stuff. Jake and Owen still side by side, and off goes Jake. Is he going to leave him room? Owen wide on the inside. It'll become the outside at the next corner. Jake O'Sullivan squeezes through into P2, and Owen White is starting to struggle now as we've seen a few drivers, including Casper, drop all the way down. Waze is up to P10, and there's a safety car. Drink it in.
Yeah.
Well, this one's not done yet, folks. I do hope you all stay here. Because it's...
So I believe it was Jamie Wright, Jordan, and Kyle all dropping down as well as Pete. Well, as well as Pete, Connor, and Casper. So now we see Waze in P10.
Yeah. I noted that one. Ways up to P10. As you say, Jordan was 9th, now 17th. Kyle was 10th, now 16th. Jamie Wright bring up the rear. Jamie Griffiths inherited there on the restart, up to 14th. And Yuri's up to P9, as Gareth. Big jump for him. And look who's back in P7. Ben Harrott. On fresh, soft tyres, no less.
Yeah, you have to say, these 4 drivers on the fresher soft tyres going to be in a good position, but Khalifa decides to put in for fresh softs,
so Corey
leaving it late. Casper as well. I think people are putting in for damage.
Yeah, what a shame for Khalifa. And this could put him into the club card shootout, because it's going to promote Ben Harrott and Arnold into the top 4 in points. So Khalifa will drop way back. So you're likely to see him next week competing in the round of 16 in the club card shootout, the first official one of those we've done. We did trial it last season, and it was won by Kieran, but fortunately no points were available, thank God, because we didn't want him winning. Rest in peace, Kieran's Joker race, by the way, here in Japan, disqualified on the line. But yeah, Khalifa, not a good day for him unless he can recover something from there. So he pitted along with Kyle, who's still in the pits, by the way. But we're going to have a similar restart to what we had last week, where it was a 1 or 2 lap shootout, and when Casper had to hold off Kyle around the outside of turn 2 at Silverstone. We're going to have something very similar here, maybe with an extra lap. Corey versus Jake for a race win. It is very much Hamilton and Verstappen. Jamie Wright picking up a penalty. We'll leave that. We'll leave him be. Under safety car. But yeah, Hamilton Verstappen vibes here with Corey and Jake. Corey trying to hunt down what would be his 6th win. So my apologies, I said he had 6 already. He's only got 5. Would be looking for his 6th, and Jake would be looking to go into double figures on 10. Or Danny Quinn does somebody else in this field have a rabbit up their sleeve, or a rabbit in their hat, or a rabbit somewhere else that we don't know about?
I think maybe, I'm not too sure. I'm looking at the soft runners from P6 to P9. They could have something. Well, Wace has got a 3-second penalty.
So I've just seen Owen almost end his race, going into the back of Jake.
Yeah, I caught that as well, but yeah, I'm just keeping my eyes on those 4 soft runners. They are getting the laps in on those softs, but being under safety car conditions, those softs will be in better nick come these last 2 laps of racing. We do have J. Luke, who's just pitted again for fresh softs, so he did have fresh softs.
Perhaps he's been waiting for this moment. He's thinking, lap 25, I'm going to be last, and I'm going to whip out the freshest softs on the grid and drive my way to the front with a penalty. That's his thinking here. It's got to be. Jamie Wright, by the way, it's easy to forget, he is the all-time record wins holder, most points, and shares the most championships as well. Season 2 and Season 4 champion in Brazil and Texas, respectively. So yeah, do not forget that. I know he's struggling whilst he's adapting onto Will here, but he is still very much the face of the league when it comes to historic stats. But when it comes to modern stats, this man in P2 is very much leading the way. The most points in the last 2 seasons, Jake O'Sullivan, out of anybody. And that's because perhaps Corey wasn't here last season. He had nobody to fight with. But Corey versus Jake. We are in for the 2nd week in a row for a green-white checkered finish here at Suzuka. JACKOCAR. It's not scripted this time, I can assure you. It normally is. But we are very much looking forward to this one. And look how slow Corey is going. Trying everything he can to get into the mind of Jake. We will continue to look back here, just in case of any potential brake checking, and also to make sure he goes in the right place. That orange barrier on the right is where you can restart, and Corey goes at the earliest opportunity and gets a lovely jump on Jake O'Sullivan. There will be no DRS as we get restarted here in Japan. This is going to be a 2-lap shootout for the race win, and JACKOCAR in the Cup Series has had 4 race winners in the opening 4 rounds this season. Corey could make it 5. Perhaps Jake and Owen want to get their 2nd win this season. Owen Wyatt has dominated this race, and Jake and Corey have been at it all race long. Right behind him, Arnaud with over 600 days without a race win in the league. He trails in P4. If it gets tasty between the front 3, will he be there to nick the win? What about MK Bourne down in P5? Won in Canada last season, but currently under pressure from Ben Harrett on those fresh softs. Will Ben Harrett go to the outside, interestingly enough? Can he make it around there as we see Owen Wyatt make a move on Jake? It's all happening all at once here. We can't look at Michelle, he's at the back. But Owen Wyatt trying to gain P2 back down the inside of Spoon. And there's just enough room for 2 as Jake retains P2. Corey will be loving that in his mirrors. But have they got enough ERS to try and get to the front? We see Waze retire from Japan. But Arnaud is now very much part of this fight. It's a 4-way train for the lead as we head down towards the Casio Triangle. Corey, Jake, Owen and Arnaud. But who wants it the most? We're going to go back on board with Corey. It's going to be 1 lap to go here in Suzuka, not sponsored by Credit One Bank. I'm not legally allowed to say it. But Jake O'Sullivan defending from Owen Wyatt as they try and drop Arnaud. Into turn 1 they go. Corey has the half-second lead, but can he hold on for another 17 corners? I hope I'm right, otherwise this commentary is awful. But is Jake looking like he's actually struggling with the rears? Owen Wyatt looks the more lively on those hard tyres, and Jake, if anything, is a bit of a cork in the bottle for Owen Wyatt, who you would back to be the race winner if there wasn't him in the way. Through the Degners they go. Corey, then Jake, and Owen right behind. Degner 2 under the bridge. Can Corey keep his head for another half a lap? Arnold has dropped back. Ben Harrett has gained P5. Owen Wyatt is going for it, I'm hearing. But this fighting does not help either of them, as Jake so desperately wants P2. He wants to win this regular season championship. We see Jamie Griffiths out of this race, and Owen Wyatt's on the grass and off at Spoon. Arnold can sniff a podium, and there it is. I wonder if that one will get reported, but it's given nearly a second lead to Corey as Arnold. Can he try and steal P2 from Jake, who probably has some underfloor damage with his contacts and his adventures with Owen Wyatt? It's going to be a massive lunge from one of these two. Arnold to the inside, and they're going to go straight on at the Casio. Will Wyatt try and get the podium here? No, he can't, but Corey is going to win in Suzuka, and Jake O'Sullivan P2. Arnold will jump up to second, and there's actually a penalty for Jake. He's dropping down the order. P10, will he stay there? Yeah, no, he won't. He's actually... Oh, he got a 10-second penalty, didn't he? He's all the way back.
It got 20 seconds.
It was 20 seconds, was it? Jake, from being on for a dead cert P2, is now P13. I am sure that one might well be reported, but what can't be argued with is Corey Dalton makes it 5 from 5 in the Cup Series. JACKOCAR at its best once again.
Yeah, that ending was just incredible. The gap, even the gap for P2 was less than a tenth, and once again, I didn't want to butt in and cut you off, but through that incident with Waze going out of the spoon curve, Jamie Griffiths actually got a rear left puncture from running over some debris. And then he ended up going into the pits and retiring, so it's so unfortunate for Jamie. Just his race going from bad to worse.
Corey Dalton wins his 6th Cup Series race. I believe he ties with Kieran in that, or with that, I should say. Oh,
and me.
And you in the Kia Series. That doesn't count. Kia scum.
Yeah.
Mr. Quinn, I will let you read out the order.
Yes, we do have that's very interesting picture there for Corey. Well, yeah, we've got Corey in P1, Arnold in P2, Owen Wyatt rounding off the podium. Then we have Ben Harrett, Casper Klein, Mike Kelterborn, Yuri Hasselager, Carl Smith, Jordan Lane, Pete Knighton. Then we have Michelle Goris, Khalifa, and Jake in 13th, Connor in 14th, fastest man in speed in 15th, doesn't really look like that now. Jamie in 16th, well, Jamie Wright in 16th, Jamie Griffiths in 17th. Then we have Wace, Leroy, and Kieran rounding off the grid.
Somebody said to me after last week, I think it might have been Pete Knighton, that being points leader is a curse. Jake O'Sullivan come into this race as points leader, and you'll never guess what happened right at the end. He got a 20-second penalty. So it does mean, if I do my maths correctly, I think Corey... Hold on. Very quick VAR check. Oh no, I think Casper is now the points leader. Somehow. In all of that. But there you go. That was JACKOCAR. That was Suzuka. I don't think we need to add any more, do we? Oh, wait, no. We were first and second on Tuesday night in Miami. But that was fantastic racing from these guys. There'll be a lot of people who thought, oh, no, you ruined my race. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, Danny. So we are going to end on a high, and I'm going to go and be miserable having to do admin and seeing all the complaints. Have a good night, everybody. We'll be back in a week for Spa. Throwback week, actually.
So, yeah, interesting to see deliveries. Of course, it won't be me in the commentary box, I believe.
It should be Baz.
If he's available.
So, a throwback name for Throwback Week, the 37-year-old Barry Baldwin joining me for probably another hectic race at Spa, let's be honest, because it was last season. But yeah, we'll leave you with that. Have a good evening.
See you.